Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk about something that has been on my mind. I had this conversation over the weekend. I was at a graduation party, and a friend of ours recently started taking a GLP-1 medication. They were telling me they were having some trouble getting the next dose increased. So, as we talked, I was thinking about how I've had the same conversation so many other times, and I see this happen quite a bit. Many people start these medications, and each month they move to the next dose, and then the next one, and then the next one. And sometimes because that's what their provider has recommended, sometimes because they're hoping for faster weight loss, and often because they're chasing something else. They're chasing the absence of hunger. They're chasing the feeling of never wanting food. They're chasing that sublime quiet. And I understand why, because most of us have been taught that hunger is the problem. We've spent years believing if I wasn't hungry all the time, I'd actually lose weight. If I didn't crave food, this would all be easier. And if I could just stop thinking about food, I'd finally have some space for success. So when someone starts feeling hunger again, even a little bit, they often think the medication isn't working anymore. I must need a higher dose. Something is wrong. And here's how I explain it there is a highest dose. At some point, you're going to reach the top. There isn't another level after that. There's some things the doctors can do. They're now adding a couple other medications with it, but at some point, you're topping out at the medication. And whether you're taking a GLP-1 or not, eventually you need a strategy that works when hunger shows up because hunger is part of being human. Now, I want you to hear me. I am not anti medication. I think these medications can be incredibly helpful tools. I've taken one, my clients, some of them have taken them, but the people who do best long term, they learn something important. They learn how to understand their hunger instead of fearing it. Honestly, that's true whether you're taking a medication or not. The goal isn't to eliminate hunger forever. The goal is to understand what your hunger is trying to tell you. Think about it this way. If the gas light in your car comes on, you don't panic. You don't assume the car is broken, immediately trade it in. You just recognize that it's telling you something, right? It's giving you some information. Your body, it does the same thing. Hunger is just information, it's communication, it's a signal. The problem is that most of us have never learned how to listen to it. Instead, we immediately try to get rid of it. We treat it like an emergency. But hunger isn't an emergency, it's a message. And here's where things get really interesting. Sometimes the message is, hey, I need some food. That's it. Your body needs fuel. And if that's the case, great, feed it. Not with punishment foods, that you think you have to eat to lose weight. Not with food that you hate and not with food that makes you miserable or very little food to just get by. Feed it foods that you love, food that helps your body feel good. Feed it foods that provide energy, the foods that actually satisfy you. I think we've been taught that we have to choose. Either we eat foods that we love or we eat foods that support our health and help us lose weight, right? But most of the time, we can actually do both. Now, sometimes what we're calling hunger isn't even actually about food. Maybe you've had a stressful day. Maybe you've been taking care of everyone else, right? Maybe you've been solving problems of the world, solving problems at work, or you're just exhausted. You're overwhelmed, or maybe you've had zero fun all week. And suddenly you're standing in front of the pantry or the refrigerator and you're thinking that you're hungry. But what you actually need is relief, maybe rest, a break, or maybe you need some connection, some fun. You need comfort. Often, food becomes the easiest solution available for everything. And that's why one of my favorite questions to ask myself and my clients is what does this hunger need? This specific moment, what does this hunger need? Not what does it want, what does it need? Maybe it needs lunch. Maybe you skipped lunch or some protein, or gosh forbid, some fat or carbohydrates. Maybe you need those. Maybe it needs some water or a nap or a walk. Maybe you just need 5 quiet minutes. I've said that lately. I need some quiet. Maybe you need a hug or a conversation with a friend. Maybe it needs you to stop carrying everyone else's problems for just 1 hour. When you start asking that question, everything changes. You stop fighting your body, you start listening to it. And that's where confidence comes from. That's where trust comes from. And where sustainable weight loss is going to come from. Not because hunger disappears, not at all, but because you stopped being afraid of it. You learned what to do when it showed up. So, if there's one thing I want you to take away from today's live here, it's this: the goal isn't to never feel hungry. The goal is to understand your hunger because hunger isn't the enemy, it's information. And the more you learn to understand it, the easier weight loss becomes, whether you're taking a GLP-1 medication or not. So, if this resonates with you and you're tired of feeling confused by hunger, cravings, overeating, and your food thoughts, I can help. I teach women how to lose weight in a way that feels normal, doable, and completely sustainable. Not through strict diets or white knuckling the hunger when it comes, because it's going to come, but by learning the skills that help you trust yourself around food. So, schedule a free personalized solutions call with me. www.coachingkara.com/free call. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, when you think you're hungry, what do you think you might actually need most often? All right, I'll see you next week.